Well, hello, and welcome back to the Piping Pastor. As I mentioned, video number two, same pipe, same tobacco. Just did a relight. Got my cold brew coffee going on here. Now, as it happens in the series I'm doing, is about viewing God, and that's the question that Trucking Piper Bob had on one of my videos. And rather than type out a lengthy response, I was like, you know what, this might take a minute. I'll just do a VR. Which I'm always happy to do. If you ever have a question that you would like me to expound upon or offer my views on with regards to faith or religion, science and religion, men's fashions, martial arts, those are still parts of my channel. I'm happy to do so. Well, Bob was having a discussion with his kids apparently about the nature of God and their impression of who God was and how God exists and so forth. Which, first of all, I think is phenomenal, and I think everyone should do that. I think that is a generational blessing when we offer our children spiritual education. A fully developed spiritual core is an amazingly powerful thing. So kudos for that. But they asked about, essentially they're trying to work out if that old school Calvinist view of God, of the old white guy sitting on a throne in heaven with the big white beard, passing judgment, right? If that's what God is. And simple answer is no, that's not God. God is not an old white dude with a beard sitting on a throne. Um, we do have the physical incarnation of God in the person of Jesus Christ. So if you're thinking about wanting a physical image of God in terms of like humanity, then there you go. Bob's your uncle. You got Jesus. So if you want to think of God in physical form, think about a Jewish person in the first century Middle East. That's what Jesus looks like, and that's your physical representation of God. God the Father and the Holy Spirit, not quite so easy to pin down, because God is a triune God, so God exists eternally in three persons, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. But it's the whole Father aspect that I think trips people up because they think, okay, Father, Jesus was a young man in his 30s, so we think, oh, a 30-year-old's father is probably 50, 60, so we think of like a 60-year-old man as God the Father, but God is way far beyond that. Understanding the Trinity is an entirely different conversation, or is it trying to understand the Trinity is an entirely different conversation. Um, we can't really fully grasp what the Trinity is. We can offer representations of it and we can offer analogies to it. But when it comes down to really truly understanding what the Trinity is, um, that's a whole other bag of cats. But he was asking about the presence of God and the action of God and the universe and presence and so on and so forth. Is God in a tree? Is God in the rock and so on and so forth? And again, the nice simple answer is yes, God is omnipresent, which means that God is everywhere and every when. God exists everywhere. God is in the tree. That doesn't mean God is the tree. That is pantheism, and that does not fall within Christianity. What I'm talking about is panentheism, which is God in and through everything. And Augustine explained it this way, that the universe is a sponge and God is the ocean. So God is fully present in and through everything within creation. That's why you can go out in the woods, by yourself and just be in nature and have an ethereal spiritual experience because God is there and God is present. God is in there with us. Some people say, well, God can't be in the tree because the tree is this, and God is wholly other and wholly separate, which is kind of a misinterpretation of Karl Barth's theology, because Karl Barth um, talked about the fact that God is wholly other, right, in an effort to demonstrate the fact that God is beyond human reason and understanding. But God is not wholly other, as in wholly separate from reality. And if you ever read Karl Barth's Christological Anthropology, it kind of lays that out a little bit more clearly, but that's a very small publication most people have not read. They just think of Karl Barth wholly other. And they think of the substance dualism, spirit on one side, physical on the other. That's not how God exists. Point of fact, that cannot be how God exists, because then that suggests that there are things more powerful than God. If God is not in the tree, if God cannot be in that tree, then that means that that tree has the power and ability to keep God out. That means there are areas in the universe that God cannot enter, which means that God is then limited. Now, God does limit God's self in terms of influence and so forth to allow us free will within God's providence. However, God's presence is fully present everywhere and everywhere. God is in and through everything. So yes, if you think about God as a person, you have Jesus Christ. You have the reincarnated, glorified body of Jesus Christ. Again, first century Jew and the area around the Middle East. What that person looks like. But then the Holy Spirit is a physical and non-physical person as well, and so such as God. So yes, I think that answers your question. Which is why I didn't type it out, because it took me like 5 minutes to say it. So um, so yes, God is everywhere. God is not just physical. God is not just spiritual. God is a juxtaposition of spiritual and physical realities, omnipresent in everything, everywhen, everywhere. God is in the acorn, and God is in the fully grown oak tree. In that entire process, from germination to fulfillment to being made into a chair or whatever, God is in there and through that entire presence. So that is why we can be anywhere in the world. It's like David says, where can I go from you? Even in Sheol, which was their pre-Zoroastrian influence understanding of like kind of like the underworld. You were there. There's nowhere that God is barred from existing. There's nowhere that God cannot go or that God cannot be, from the greatest to the smallest, from the macro to the micro, from the entire universe to a single atom. God is present in all, and God can be with us in all circumstances, anywhere, everywhere, and in all things. That is panentheism. So, hope that answers your question. I got it done in one video this time. The last time I did a VR response for Bob took like 3 videos of like 10 minutes each. So a bit of an easier question. Hope that answers your question. And again, I'm very happy that you're having this discussion with your kids, and that's a model for everyone. So, all right then. Well, I'm going to go back to my revelation here. Smoking revelation, offering God's revelation, hopefully. So we'll see. But anyway, have a great week. As always, happy reading.